Hi, everyone. Well, hi, Adinda.
Hallo, kan je mij horen?
Well, ja.
Oké, cool. Ze is in die video. Ik weet niet of gaan mijn camera aan. Kijk.
That's fine, moenie worry nie.
Cool.
Okay, I just had to get the wolves inside. I'm just waiting for them to come into the room so that I can close the door. Hello, Marissa. Hello, Betty.
Hallo, en kan jy glo dat nie ons ligte afgesit nie?
Touch wood.
Ja, that's good.
Okay. I can't remember who else was going to join. Let me just see. A lot of people from last week. So how's everybody doing?
That's going well.
Display. Met hierdie groot ek.
All good, all good.
Okay, I'm just checking who else. I know Lisa won't be here. So on the note of the previous two sessions about the Eightfold Path, Jenny, we haven't seen you in a long time. So nice to see you again.
Hello, thank you very much. Lovely to be here.
Oh, I'm glad. Okay, so on the note of, we spoke about last time about the Eightfold Path. Those of you who didn't join, I'm sure you saw the pictures about it that I shared. So it's all about being aware of what we are, how we act, what we say, and all of that. So I shared the mantra, the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra. It's a very cleansing mantra, and it's also to help you cleanse karmic residues, or if you wonder why your life is standing still at a certain stage or space, and you wonder why things aren't changing. And just about clearing your energy. So the Om Mani Padme Hum is a very noble and honest mantra where you let go of all the things that is not in harmony with the authentic self. So I shared that because it's also relevant to me. Oh, Odin.
Oh, mommy. Oh, mommy.
Because it's also relevant for tonight and for the relationships. You know, wolf rule is very good for aging. It's anti-aging. Okay, so it doesn't look like anybody else is coming in. So what is going on at this stage, major shifts that we are going through on Earth. Jenny, did you cut your hair off? Oh no, women. And there's Sadine as well. It looks beautiful. Oh, that looks lovely. You're very brave. Okay, so Sadine, let's just wait for Sadine to also come in.
Okay, it's in.
Okay, cool. So I was just saying that we were speaking about the Noble Eightfold Path and how to clarify our lives. Let me just tell the other people as well that weren't here the last 2 or 3 times. We are in a process where we are busy purifying our own energy. So it's about staying humble, staying pure, but being aware of everything that you say and do. Not necessarily for the sake of others, but for the sake of what you want to create in your own life. And
Hello.
hello, Karen. And so as we live, everything that you see around you, everything that has happened in your life and the people that are in your life is because of your karmic energy. The way you have lived previously in this life and in past lives. But we can do something about that. And as you create positive karma, as you grow spiritually, you enter into new karmic states. So I was just talking about the mantra that I shared on the group. You can find the song there and listen to it. And the Om Mani Padme Hum. Buddhists chant it 808 times a day with the beads. You can also use a
Rosary.
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 So it has 108 beads. So, yeah, I think just turn off your mics so that we don't have distraction for the people who still have the mic on. Okay, so for the topic of today as well, so where we are at on Earth right now, big changes happening. Good kitten. Big changes happening. So we need to be very aware of what we allow and what we don't allow, because everything that you choose come into your life right now, or that you choose to allow to stay in your life right now, is creating your future. And everything that you are creating. Odin just wants to come past. Okay, so the Om Mani Padme Hum is a clearing chant. And they say, you know, especially if you chant it while dying, to enter into a new karmic space, because it's such a beautiful chant that you can actually take on other people's negativity and pain and transcend it without making it your own. Please, Deidre, as well. Okay, so let's just wait for her. Welkom, vrou. Deidre, is jy daar? Okay, anyway. So all of these things that we are going through, just to help us, to prepare us to go into a lighter way of living. In other words, we are heightening our frequency, and we are taking responsibility for everything that we create in our lives, and to actually be excited of what you can create in your future. Because whatever you put into this life, every attitude, every word is guiding your way towards where you are going in the afterlife and in your next life. So lots of people tell me, but I don't want to come back. Well, good luck with that. If you are still stuck in complaining and creating negativity, you will come back for sure. So when it comes to the cleansing, to becoming purer and purifying yourself, you do it all for you and for your spiritual growth and whatever we need to create afterwards. So it was actually so beautiful. The other day I was telling the Buddhist master something that was happening in my life, and he said to me, my karmic seeds are ripening. And I said to him, well, what does that mean? And he said to me, well, seeds that I planted in past lives are coming into fruition for me now. And I thought, that's so exciting. That means, you know, we have a choice. It means that we have a choice as to what we plant in this life and what can be created in a next life, even if you feel that you are not managing it in this life. Sorry, I just want to go and close the door because Olga has taught herself to open doors. Okay. So, but shifts that are happening on Earth this year is like none before. And you might have noticed interesting stuff in relationships. Not even just close relationships, but friendships, partnerships, even in work relationships. So there are lots of endings happening. And maybe also relationships that you didn't think would be ending. So we have very interesting choices to make. And I find with a lot of my clients, you know, they complain about the relationship that they are in, but they are so stuck in that not wanting to make the choice themselves, not wanting to move. And that's why I shared that quote that I saw in my diary this morning about don't ask God to guide your feet or your next step if you're not willing to move your feet. Because if you keep yourself stuck in the same karmic energy or in the same negativity, nothing's going to change. Even if that person leaves or you leave and you haven't changed that mindset, you're just going to go into the same kind of relationship again. So, which, Idre, ek dink sit net jou mic af. My maak 'n snaakse noise. Jy kan maar jou kamera aanlos.
Moet my net iets vra waar nie. Oh,
In die boonste regterkantste hoekie. Okay, so relationships right now. Ask yourself first which relationships are pressing your buttons. And of course, we all know we need to ask why, because you need to take responsibility for your side of that karmic relationship or that soul contract. So when somebody comes to press your button, it means that there's still something you're working on to move through that karmic energy and to move to a next level where you can be without that energy. So ask yourself, why has this person showed up? Why are they pushing these buttons? What do you need to deal with in that space to clear your side of the contract and then to let it go? So obviously we can allow the relationship to shift by itself, but newsflash, if it's not shifting, it means you haven't done what you needed to do, or it's up to you to create the shift. It was actually so beautiful to me when my mother passed away, because I knew that I had done a lot of inner work in myself to transform every bit of pain and hurt that I experienced in our relationship. And I didn't do it for the relationship. I did it for me, so that I could be free of that pain, so that I can live in joy. But when my mom passed, and at that stage things were actually very good between us, And when she passed, I felt like celebrating because it felt like she gave me a gift to show me that our soul contract is done and done in a good way. And I felt like I gave her a gift because I did all of that inner work in myself to conclude what she had to show me so that she was free to go. So, you know, it's always in our hands. You always have to notice what's your side of it. What is it that you need to deal with? But then there's relationships that show up just to show you where you don't have boundaries, or where you are allowing shit, or where you are trying to please people, or not making positive, healthy choices for yourself and rather want to make choices for the other people. So what's happening this year is that we have to make difficult decisions. So in this year, we have to cut the ties. You can't keep dragging people with you that's not in line with your authentic self. And when new people show up that's not in line with your authentic self, again, first see what you need to learn from the situation. But let's take friendships and even love relationships. If they don't bring joy, if they don't bring fulfillment, if there's pain, if they take away your freedom. I had a client the other day that said she's in a relationship with such a nice guy. He's such a good person. But he doesn't allow her to go on holidays alone. He always wants to know where she is and what she's doing. So there's no freedom and no trust. And she's been working on trust issues for a long time. And we got to the bottom of it, of what she still had to deal with. Because she liked to be in control of situations, and here was somebody who wanted to take control of situations. But can you see, it's like the 101 of relationships that can't work is when somebody takes something away from you, you need to ask yourself, what do we have in common? On the other hand, we are going through a time where our soul partners can really show up. And this is in friendship, in love, in work, and everything. So the more you attune your energy to be your authentic self, and to notice your own shit as well, notice things where you need to smooth the way in how you communicate, how you treat people. Of course, people will show up to help you deal with that. But then look at the relationships that are really hurtful to you. Joy, not bringing fulfillment, and not adding to your peace. Does anybody have a question there? So, because we are starting basically over. Yeah, sorry, Jackie.
I wanted to ask you, nobody could ever tell me why. When I was, years ago, 1999, when I started along the Buddhist path, I have to sit on the floor in a doorway to chant. I used to do 1,000 Omani Padme, okay? I used to get so hot. I didn't know what to do with myself. But hot, like somebody opened an oven on me. Is that the energy I was creating? Yes, I want to know. Why? Is that the energy I'm creating?
Well, I'll have to look into that. I think we can deal with that in your session. When's your session? Next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Om Mani Padme Hum chant is a chant that can alter your consciousness.
Okay.
So Yeah, it's probably that. Okay, but let's stick to the subject
Okay. Okay.
on at hand. All right. Does anybody have a relationship like that right now that you are wondering about? Something that is bothering you? Well, obviously you're all here because of some sort of thing that you need to deal with. Yes.
Belinda, I do understand what you say because it happened to me, but that it took whatever. My late husband died 5 years ago, and it took me time to work through. But I'm at such peace now. It's me and only me, and the animals and nature and the planet. That's all that matters to me, and children, animals and children.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, but some relationships are really difficult to let go of. And I mean, we do go into guilt as well, because we always want something to end very nicely. And I was just contemplating something today as well, because I had a client for more than 10 years. And suddenly something just happened and something shifted, something changed. And I believe, you know, that we often go in different directions. So, but I would always still, you know, like keep them on my Facebook or be open for them to contact me again. But these days, it's like I feel that people that are not committed to me anymore and actually started being a bit frightful or nasty, that I don't want them in my space. I don't want them even on my Facebook space. So this is still challenging because we have this thought that, you know, to be a good person, you shouldn't be the one to end something like that. How do you guys feel about that? Nobody else.
Belinda,
Yeah, Karen. Betty will listen to you also. Karen?
Ek het so 'n paar jaar terug van verhouding met familie, 'n paar lede wat ek mee gesny het. So nou bevind ek my so half en half op die rand. Ek is nou die randeier, want ek was nou die bad person that cut the ties. And I'm constantly being made like I have to feel guilty, I have to fix things. Maar, yeah, I suppose you want English. The moment I think about it and thinking of having to deal with them again, I'm actually in a frenzy. How do you deal with people making you feel guilty for cutting ties with people that literally killed your soul?
Well, obviously, if there's people that are still trying to force you to do that, they should also not be in your life. It sounds very nasty, but remember, we allow. And first we need to look at why we allow that, because they can only make you feel guilty if there's still a guilty button to push. So in a way, you are still feeling guilty, or maybe feeling that, oh, I'm not being a good person.
Yeah, basically feeling I'm not being a good person.
Exactly. But we have to redefine what the good person is. Because for a long time, especially for the feminine energy, for women, you know, we had to be the weaker ones. You had to take it all lying down. Otherwise, you don't have anywhere to go. So, but at this stage, you know, Sorry julle. My rekenaar se Wi-Fi het ewe skielik ingegee. Okay, so just remember that other people are also responsible adults. So wherever we are being forced to be something that is not in line with who we are, or where we stand in our power, where we are being made to feel guilty or weak, obviously there's something that you have to deal with, but you cannot take responsibility for their part. Always just take responsibility. Ask yourself, have I done my best? Do I feel good about the way that I acted, about what I brought to the situation? And then move on. It's like they say, the people that matter don't mind, and the people that mind don't matter. So it's not good to have relationships where there's not a 50-50. And obviously we have to be made aware when it's not 50-50 from our side as well. The angels always say to me, it's like when you want to manifest a love relationship, you need to write down everything that you want to experience in that relationship. The love, the compassion, the understanding, the support. But also remember that everything that you want to receive is also what you want to give. And look at what you want and can give, because you can't expect anybody else to bring that to you, but you are not giving that back or supplying it to the other person as well. Does it make sense?
Ja, jy het gesê van let's redefine what's a good person.
Yeah. So we are redefining everything at this stage, our roles that we play on earth. So we need to ask ourselves, do we really believe what the world tells us a good person is, to keep your mouth shut and to do everybody's bidding? Or is a good person the one that stands up for herself and become an example of that? And you can still be loving and supportive, but not in a way where you are abused or told what to do or told what is right, what your place is and things like that. Maak dit sin?
Yes, dankie.
Okay, Birdie, you also wanted to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to ask you, sorry, my video isn't on because I'm in my jammies.
Don't worry.
I wanted to ask you, and when you said somebody pushing your buttons, I wanted to ask you, I'm working with a new colleague. She's literally only been with the company for about less than a month, probably 3 weeks. And my gosh, is this one pressing my buttons? I'm normally the most patient, loving, kind, but this one brings out the worst in me. And
What
so
does she do that pushes your buttons?
do you know? As I say, she's a colleague. She's actually our admin lady. And yes, so when I ask her for help, because I'm quite deaf, because I'm 70 years old and I battle with my laptop. But need I tell you, they've switched programs and everybody's battling. But this woman is just totally impossible. And yes, so I found it quite interesting that my older relationships, I don't have a problem with them, but this youngster, I honestly, as you said, she's pushing my buttons, and I am that far from telling. I actually told her today, I'm officially on holiday now because this program is not being sorted out. So she answered after about 2 hours that she will help me on Tuesday, next week, Tuesday. I mean, I've got work to do. So what does one do in this case?
Okay, so let's look at your side of it. Obviously, you feel a bit vulnerable because you feel you aren't up to speed with technology, maybe like the others. I'd never play yourself down. Stop saying things like I'm deaf and I'm not coping with something, because immediately that's like a red light on your head that you are vulnerable and that people can walk all over you. So remember, when we want people to respect us, we need to respect ourselves. And we need to talk respectfully about ourselves. And it feels to me like she's pushing that button for you to start standing up and be more respectful of how you talk about yourself. Does that make sense? Birdie?
Sorry, I thought I was chatting and then my mute button was off. It keeps cutting out when you chat. And you spoke, I just heard the word respectful. What were you saying?
Yeah, so it feels to me like she is pushing your buttons in order for you to start respecting yourself more.
Oh, that could be.
That you are, feeling vulnerable because you are not up to speed with the technology. So look at how you talk about yourself. And,
Yes.
rather honor yourself for who you are. You didn't grow up with the technology and you are still busy with it. You are still learning it. You're still doing it.
True.
So I think people are coming in for you to start owning who you are and stop saying things like you're deaf.
Yes, that is a bad habit. I do agree with you.
Okay. So, but what you can also do is surrender the situation. Say to yourself, okay, or ask the angels or spirit, whoever you talk to, show me what I need to learn from this. Show me what I need to understand and incorporate within myself to create the shifts inside of myself, and then help the situation to shift. And then surrender the situation. Visualize how you give it over, how you let it go, and trust in the best outcome for everybody. Does it make sense? Birdie, can you hear me?
Yes. It keeps cutting out. I don't know if it's your side or my side. So every now and again it cuts out, but I've got the gist of it. And I like your suggestion of me to work through it and let it go and just trust, because I do think you're quite right that she's been sent to sort me out.
Okay, I'm going to try and connect to Zoom on my computer again. Are there other people also struggling to hear me?
No, it was only that once when it was silent for long, just after you announced that the computer cut out. After that, it was smooth on my side.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay. All right.
It must be my son.
Okay, Birdie. So, but I think that was a very good question or example, because we can actually remember that in every situation. And I actually also need to remember that before I unfriend anybody on Facebook and take my own advice, because that's usually what I do, is instead of having to be forceful as well, because also being forceful takes away from how you perceive yourself. So we lose respect for ourselves when we act in a way that feels like we might not be a good person. So, and as I say, make sure that you are the good person from your side. You can't try to take responsibility for what the other person do. Also, remember, people can show up. Sometimes we know that something's done. Let's use Birdie's example again. And I'm not saying this is how you need to look at it, Birdie, is just an example. But say, for instance, you've been feeling for a while that that job isn't what you want to do anymore. And you've been thinking it, but you haven't been praying for something new to come. You haven't believed in something new for yourself. So what will happen to show you that a shift needs to happen? People will show up and people will make it difficult for you because you have to make a decision whether you want to be there or not. Does that
You're
also make
so
sense for you guys?
Definitely makes sense for me. I've been in this profession for 27 years, but
Mhm.
I have been thinking maybe I've been there, done that, seen it. Yeah, so a good point you've made there. You've got me thinking. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, because we want signs that something is done, but we're too scared to ask. And we're too scared to believe in something new. And let's take your age. You say you're 70, Birdie.
That's correct.
Wow, well done for still being in the workplace.
Gosh, and
But
I've got 2 jobs, so I stay busy.
yeah, so I mean, there you need to respect yourself, like, wow. And, you know, make sure that other people see that you respect yourself. But maybe life is showing you that actually in your heart, you want a simpler life, but you're not
I do.
believing it.
I'm totally ready to be retired.
Okay. So, but you know, there's challenges because the head will say, okay, but will I have enough money? And what will I do with myself? I don't want to age too quickly if I'm not working. You know, we've got all these belief systems. So these are all things that you need to start thinking about and working through and redefining how you actually want to live and create your life. Because that's the number one thing why irritating people show up in our lives. It's to push us to make decisions for ourselves. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
So, ek gaan net my foon hier teen my koppie sit want my hand word seermal vas. Yeah, so I mean, we can still bless those people. They show up for a reason. We have a soul contract with them. And if you can look at the bigger picture and not just see this irritating person, but see this person as somebody who showed up to come and guide you on your way to making better decisions for yourself, then we can still honor ourselves and that person without any bad feelings and still send them love and light. Or, you know, we were talking about that in a Buddhist class the other day, about, you know, sometimes we don't want to bless people, but you still feel you have to. I always say love and light up you, because I feel that infuses people with light. But I mean, when we get out of our anger and our ego, it's all about just going back to basics and see them as souls that showed up for a reason. So, and obviously, when there's two people that are not enjoying each other, then the job is right for one and not for the other. So we will always want the other person to go, but maybe it is something that you've been yearning for a while. And it's the same in a love relationship. I mean, if one party is unhappy, then probably both parties are unhappy. And I know lots of women that stay in relationships where the men are difficult or hard-headed, or that's just the way they are. But why? Why don't you look past what you just allow and look at what your soul is trying to gain from this? I know a lot of women who sit in misery because their husbands are terrible. And these relationships where it's the other way around as well. It's the man that's unhappy, but we don't do anything about it. So in this year, in 2023, life is going to force us to make those difficult decisions because we cannot stay in a space of being inauthentic. The more the earth's energy is changing and clearing, the more we need to clear. And if you stay behind and stay stuck in all things, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, it's just not the way forward if your soul chose to come and be part of these changes. So in a life relationship, you know, it's very much about fulfillment and trust and joy. Sorry, but still freedom and celebration is what Archangel Michael is telling me here. So, and there's lots of people who want to invite a love relationship, but they can't believe those things for themselves. And, you know, again, first be that for yourself so that you can align with that higher frequency where you allow a relationship like. And then Michael is also saying to me, you know, people have even said, but that's their life choice now. They started to believe that they are meant to be alone. But we can shift anything now. You can change your mind about anything right now and create a new reality and shift onto a new karmic level. The endings at this stage is so major. And this is why, you know, the last thing that you want to drag on or carry on with you into your future is a relationship that's not supporting your joy and your spiritual growth. Does anybody else have an example like that? Or a question?
Okay, I have is it a question? So there's this friend of mine. I haven't seen her in a while, but for some reason she did nothing that I am physically aware of, that I know of, but my energy just pushes her off, away, like my energy can't stand. Yeah, there's just something in her energy. My energy just pushes her away.
You mean
I
that
don't know
she
how to explain that.
or do you irritate her? What do you mean?
I don't know. No, she doesn't irritate me. She doesn't. I also don't irritate her. My energy just pushes her energy away. Does it make sense?
How does it manifest? How does the energy pushing away manifest physically?
Nee. Veronderstel gou twee magnete, soos my energie
Ek verstaan, maar wat
hou
veroorsaak
net
dit?
op die oomblik van haar en niks. Ek weet nie iets waarvan ek fisies aware is nie.
Okay.
Daar begin gaan jou syne bietjie wonky.
Okay, sorry. Can you my know where?
Yes.
In a situation like that, I will just ask for insight. I will just ask for clarity and to be shown what needs to happen there. So, you know, remember every relationship is a mirror. You know that, Sadine.
Ja, maar ek is nog nice met haar en ek is nice met haar. I'm not funny. Ja, ek probeer om dit nie te veel aandag te gee nie, but it's just something that I'm aware of at this stage.
What Gabriel is showing me there is, you know, and this you will really know, Sadine, is that we grow spiritually at different rates. And sometimes our frequency just heightens so much that somebody else's frequency doesn't agree with it anymore.
Yeah,
And it doesn't
totally.
for them or they for us. It just means that the relationship is sort of done for now. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just part for a while and the other person catches up.
Yeah,
And then we unite. So sometimes
totally
it's
sense.
giving them that space.
Ja, dit maak min of meer vir my tyd. Dit maak meer vir my sin want daar's niks wat gebeur het. Is net I'm not, laat ek so sê, I'm not attracted to her energy at this stage at all. It's just en verstaan ek is nie lelik met haar nie, but ja, totally sense. Thank you. Hy het 'n bietjie opgebreek daar, maar ek het die meeste van dit gekry.
Okay. Also remember that a lot of people are going through shit right now. We all have stuff that we have to work through. We are all going through some kind of ending or death process. And that can also isolate, cause people to put up higher walls or isolate themselves a bit, go a bit more private, you know, and also when we are dealing with the same kind of vibration stuff, but each our own thing, that can also clash, where we just have to give each other space, where we are not able to share or deal with it together, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
So I think there's also, you know, just gain the wisdom of where you are needed and when it's more important to give them space to do it on their own.
Yeah, at the moment she's living in a different province. We're not really in contact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's probably also for a reason for you guys to just be separate for a while. And then
Yeah.
I just, you know, I always believe that you need to set friends free. And if they come back, it's meant to be. Otherwise, the path that needed to be walked together is done. And
No,
that,
yeah, that's fine. I'm actually not really worried, but that's the one friend but that's not the only friend that I kind of feel like that towards. But taking what you said into consideration with all of the other things, it totally makes sense for that.
okay. Anybody else want to ask something or ask about a relationship? Okay, so the angels are just saying, remember, and they can't say this enough. Just remember, everything you choose to keep in your life right now will create ripple effects later because it becomes part of your being. I actually went to Yolandi, a friend of mine who does healing, and I was on this machine of hers, and when she treats me with that machine, it actually takes me to such a higher vibration where I actually have profound experiences. And what was shown to me today was that concentric circles of, you know, those ripple effects. And the center point is us. And then the ripple effects out. But today I realized what it means for us right now is that everything is like that stone dropping in the water and the ripple effects. Everything that you are as that little stone, everything that you decide and how you act, how you behave, and what you choose to have in your life is contained in that energy. And as it drops, as you are living this life, every concentric circle that goes out into past life, future lives, everywhere, is affected by what you are doing now. And it's almost so big and so profound. That's why I take it so seriously, that you know, the choices that we are making right now, we need to do it with the right intentions. And that is also for what you bring with you. So, like I say, but if you have to end something, do it with a clear conscience, do it with good intent from your side, or just allow it to sort of die its own natural death. And then, you know, the more you make space, the more you let go of friendships that you've been carrying and wasn't supplying anything to you or were draining you, the more you make space, the more you will see these new friendships coming in, these new partnerships that are just on another level. And then you can actually see your own karmic shift or your frequency shift by the kind of people that start coming in and say, wow, by these people coming in, I can actually see that I've grown, that I've shifted, that I've left that behind. And I think that's pretty profound. And we are living at a stage where we can gain that insight and where we are being shown. The veil is very thin at this stage, so we can get very deep insight and wisdom into ourselves. Okay. One more question before we do the meditation. Anybody else? Okay.
Belinda, skus gou al weer gewonder. Die shifts en goed wat mense nou deurgaan, kan dit ook fisiese neeweffekte veroorsaak sodat soos byvoorbeeld baie kopseere en ons is hoogs geïrriteerd sommer vir geen rede nie en al sulke goedjies. Want ek wil ook vra is, ek en my meisiekind het die naweek vir haar halfsessie gaan kuier, maar sy het met meisiekind nou 8, sy het 'n halfsessie gesien nadat sy 3 was. So hulle moes mekaar nou basically weer van voor af ontmoet en alles. So daar's nogal baie goedjies gesê en bonding gebeur en verkeerde stories wat vertel is deur familie, vriende, whatever. So of so sê die waarheid het meer uitgekom en meer perspektief gegee oor sekere situasies en goed. So ek meen daar was baie emotional goedjies wat aangegaan het. Dit was baie lekker tyd gewees. So hulle het baie geniet en alles, maar my meisiekind en ek myself ook, ons vind onsself in 'n baie emosionele snaakse space. Ons is hoogs geïrriteerd, ons is baie emosioneel, ons huil vir geen rede nie, baie geïrriteerd. Maar dit was 'n goeie naweek, so ek weet nie, dit is vir my 'n bietjie, so amper so 'n anti-klimaks half. So ek weet nie of dit dalk deel is van, is dit 'n deel van al die goedjies wat net let go en die shifts wat gebeur het.
Ja, onthou, al hierdie emosionele goeders het 'n effek op die liggaam. Op die ou end is dit wat die DNA verander. 'n groot deel van, a big part of this process is that we are going through to purify ourselves has to help change the DNA so that we can start incarnate into physical bodies that are more sensitive and more in line with nature and compassion and all of that. Too many things to discuss. But remember that every emotional shift, every detox that you experience has to be done through the body as well. So I went for this treatment today because, again, I'm in a lot of physical pain. There's lots of things happening in my body. I can't even exercise, so it's negative for me emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And, you know, Yolani and I realized that everything that I've went through with my mom's passing and actually the chapter that was concluded with my mom and all the inner work that I've done regarding her as well, that is finally being processed in the body. Now that is years, that's years and years and years of stuff that's now finished. It's like, okay, there's nowhere to go with this anymore. And now finally it has to be integrated into my physical body. And so it's a whole detox. So my liver, my intestines, my stomach, my lymph, everything is struggling because the body reacts to everything that goes on in your mental state, in your emotional state. And that's why I always teach at my retreats how you need to take care of all levels of your being. So dit maak absolute sin. I mean, even after clients, I'm emotional or tired. I never do a past life regression for somebody without having an afternoon afterwards where I can go and lie down and just sleep, because it's so emotionally tiring and draining for me as well and for the client. So the more we grow spiritually and the more you heighten your frequency, the more attuned you become, the more sensitive the body will also be. And there will always be an after effect, but that is positive because it's part of the integration.
Okay, so even though it feels crappy, it's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to integrate it in the physical. So then you just need to be careful not to go into that mind space of, I'm not feeling good, why is this happening, or whatever.
Yes.
Negative label on it.
Yeah.
If you understand, wow, positive shifts has happened, but my body still needs to integrate it so that I can integrate it into my life, you know, actually take that time to rest and be patient and loving towards yourself. And of course, drink lots of extra water.
Okie dokes. Thanks, my love.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay.
Belinda, as ek nou luister wat jy nou net vir haar verduidelik het, dan
Ja.
klink dit amper vir my soos as jy deur 'n shift gegaan het of as jy gelet go het van iets. Dit klink amper vir my soos wat jy bedoel is, jy moet dit amper half soos 'n, dit klink nou bietjie dramaties, maar amper soos 'n grieving proses deurgaan en dit anders soos wat jy, dis 'n los, maar dis nie 'n los nie. Ek weet nie of ek dit nou sin maak wat ek sê nie.
Nee, dit is absoluut. Dis kom ek sê ons gaan deur hierdie doodsprosesse. It is
Okay.
because it's something that you were used to, something that you had certain hopes for, that didn't turn out like you thought it would. Dit kan teleurstellend wees in jouself. Ek bedoel, even if we redefine something, like what does it mean to be a good person? That's a complete reprogramming of everything we've known since childhood. And of course, the body has to integrate it. It will have an effect. That is why self-love and compassion towards the self is so important. And that's why grieving is so important. Because, you know, it is a loss. It is a loss when we have to draw the line with somebody because you change. You're not the person that you knew before. And then it's to reattune to the person that you are or are becoming. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's close our eyes and let's see what the angels want to channel for our meditation. So there's probably going to be 2 recordings because my Wi-Fi dropped in the middle. So, but you can just turn off your videos and I'm just going to channel the meditation. And like always, you could just relax and then come back when you need to. So let's just close our eyes and be aware of where you are. And just see yourself in a beautiful space. Imagine that you are in a beautiful place in nature, somewhere that you feel really, really safe and really connected to the earth and to spirit. And allow yourself to find a place where you can sit or lie down within this beautiful natural place. Allow yourself to give yourself permission to relax, to take this time just for you. And within this space, Archangel Gabriel comes to you. Just feel his energy. Feel how you feel in his presence. He understands what you are going through. He understands how difficult the life on earth can be. How traumatic it is when we have to let go of something or someone that was part of our lives. Archangel Gabriel wants you to think of a circle in front of you. And inside of that circle, you put everything that you want to invite into your life. In all relationships and all situations, how you want to create your life. Things like joy and peace and fulfillment, freedom, acceptance, fun, love, passion, contentment. And you can add anything else that you can think of. And outside of the circle, you put everything that you don't want in your life anymore. Worry, fear, believe in suffering, weakness, illness. You can add anything else that comes up for you. And this is how you ask. This is how you set your intention of the situations and people that you want in your life. And the way that you want to perceive and live your life. To be an example of the things that you put inside the circle. And make a conscious decision to not allow the things outside of the circle to influence you anymore. Or to be made aware of when you do allow these things to enter your life so that you can make a conscious decision to not let it take hold of you. Archangel Gabriel says, think of everything that you feel grateful for that is already portraying the things inside the circle. Imagine the people and the pets and the situations that bring you joy and peace and calm, belonging, opportunity, fulfillment. And if you feel that some of these things are moving away, ask yourself how you can align with those things again. How can you allow them back into your life by finding balance within yourself? Think of a person or situation that resembles to you the things that you are putting outside of the circle. And thank that person for teaching you about what you don't want in your life anymore. And what they are guiding you to realize, to shift, and to not align with that anymore. And I want you to give this circle to Gabriel. Surrender it. We can't predict how it will arrive or how the other things will be taken away. Surrender and trust. And as you hand it over to Gabriel, you let go of your need to control or the thought that you have to create your life in a certain way. It's not in our hands to make something happen, but it is in your heart to allow something to happen. And just feel that healing happening in your body as you align with your authentic self and all the things that are part of your authentic self. Feel it integrating into your cells. Feel the healing happening. Because even our bodies make us aware of where we are not aligned. And Gabriel says, don't forget to keep asking for what you want to invite into your life. Imagine your heart center opening as you are allowing, and all those things that you wrote inside of the circle enters into your heart center, blossoming, expanding, allowing you to expand into a whole new world, a whole new reality in line with your highest potential. And just stay in this space a while. Get to know what this feels like. And be aware of every negative sensation that comes up, every doubt. Put it outside the circle. Give it to Gabriel. And you can keep doing this through the week, through the month, to just keep your focus on everything that you want to invite into your heart center to manifest into your body and into your life. And you won't be alone. Gabriel will be there with you all the time. Just be with it. There's nothing wrong with you. You aren't blocking anything. You haven't done anything not to deserve beauty and calm and peace. Just allow your mind to align with that and see it become a reality in your world. Visualize it. Just feel what it feels like to experience that on a daily basis. So just keep yourself in this space for a while until you feel that you want to return. Be blessed.